The spirit of a woman shedding bloody tears will come to reveal the truth about her death. Don't miss one of the biggest investigations ever. The psychics will unravel the mysteries of a harrowing murder in Hollywood. This is Psychic Investigations, a channel of true and impressive stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants investigate incredible mystical phenomena and resonant criminal cases using their supernatural abilities. Ulyana Bubnyuk from Ukraine has approached the psychics, asking them for help. The woman is 31. She lives in a house with 2 wonderful children and her husband's ghost.
I never thought I would ever ask them for help, that I'd ever have such a problem that I couldn't deal with myself.
The young woman feared that her late husband will kill her. Vasya died from a sudden heart attack, and immediately after the funeral, his ghost began terrorizing his wife.
I don't think there's something that can be compared to what is going on inside me.
Strange things have been happening to the woman, and she is constantly finding herself caught between life and death. Ulyana is panicked as she's certain that she's going to die soon.
It's very hard indeed. I'll never wish anything like this to anyone.
Ulyana claims it's all her fault because during her husband's funeral, unable to control herself from grief and despair, she shouted out terrible words over his coffin.
I asked him to take me with him and that I couldn't live without him.
Even after 7 years of marriage, Ulyana's love for her husband wasn't less than it was at the beginning of their relationship.
I didn't need any friends. I didn't need anybody. He was everything to me.
Strong and manly, Vasya was a caring father and an attentive husband. Whenever Ulyana thinks of his loving gaze and kind smile, her heart aches from despair.
This love even makes me afraid. I will always love you. Always.
It appears that Ulyana's husband heard her plea to take her with him, because soon after the funeral, the woman found herself in the hospital with a serious brain concussion.
It was really something terrible, something awful.
Ulyana was taking her daughter to the kindergarten when she felt a touch.
I felt cold. It seemed something wanted to touch my neck, like this.
And the next moment, she felt a shove, and she suddenly fell.
I wasn't wearing heels or something. There was nothing I could trip over or stumble on, but I fell and hit my head badly.
The night after Ulyana returned home from the hospital, she saw her husband's ghost in her house. She recognized his face in the moonlight.
I was sleeping and then opened my eyes and saw his face. It was blurred, but I recognized his features. It was him.
But her husband's visit almost ended in tragedy. Ulyana got up from her bed to switch on the light.
I flicked the switch. It was functioning well. Everything was all right with it. But at that moment, it struck me with electricity.
The short circuit was so powerful that it sent Ulyana flying to her bed. A terrible burn mark appeared on her hand. The electricity was cut off all over the house.
I thought I'd had a stroke or something. I couldn't move. I was simply lying there, shocked.
The next day, Ulyana saw Vasya's ghost in the kitchen, and after that, a pan full of boiling water fell on the floor, as if somebody had pushed it down.
It poured over my ankle. I had burns that were so bad that I couldn't even wear shoes.
The woman was admitted to the hospital again, but no sooner had she returned than she experienced such horror that she still panics whenever she thinks about it. She heard Vasya's voice in the middle of the night.
He was calling me, Ulyana. I then sat up and recited Our Father 9 times, as I'd been told.
Ulyana trembled from fear and despair. But immediately after she fell asleep, her husband visited her in her dream. The woman saw him behind a great metal gate.
I was standing on the gate's one side, while he was on the other. I think it was the gate to the netherworld.
Suddenly, the gate screeched horribly and opened. And Vasya called Ulyana again. She recalls how she got scared and started running away. It was the last straw. Ulyana is terrified to death, but above all, she worries about her children, whom she loves more than her own life. If something happens to her, her 12-year-old son and 5-year-old daughter will be orphans.
Whenever I look at Nastya and Tima, my dear children, my heart breaks in two. Then I think, God, who will need them after that? Nobody.
The woman doesn't want to die. She has somebody to live for, but she doesn't know how to stop her late husband's spirit.
I really want the psychics to come and help me.
Yana Shulakova and Anna Galliers, the most experienced psychics, answered her plea. The English psychic was supposed to come back from the United States, where she'd been on business, on the eve of the investigation, but she suddenly called us via Skype.
Yana, I can't leave. I'm currently in San Francisco. I was evacuated here together with people from Malibu, and there are no flights from here. Most flights have been canceled or delayed.
What happened?
California is on fire. Yana, it's a nightmare. The sky is filled with smoke. They're extinguishing the fire from planes. Wildfires began, and then the fire spread to people's homes.
The massive wildfires began in California in November 2018. They were caused by dry weather conditions and powerful winds.
It was pure hell. The fire was destroying everything around. I felt people's deaths, and their number was growing rapidly. Do you know what the strangest thing, Yana? Even before the fires began, I was warned I wouldn't be able to depart from California.
Who did it?
A woman's spirit that I saw in Los Angeles.
Who was the woman?
I don't know. She was young and beautiful and had long black hair. But she was all white, like she'd been drained of blood. She asked me to help her. I told her I had a flight soon, and she said, "You won't be able to leave this place anytime soon." And then she vanished.
This is very strange.
Yana, look, while I'm waiting for my flight, I'd like to work with the woman who'd asked us for help remotely.
If you find some information, please call me.
Yana Shulakova asked Yaroslava Fedorova, her another colleague, to join the investigation.
Look, I've just tuned in to Ulyana and saw a dead woman with bloody tears.
Who is this mysterious dead woman, and how is she related to Ulyana's case?
Wait, Anna's calling me. How are you doing?
It's all the same so far, and I still can't depart. But I worked with Ulyana's photo, and the spirit of the woman I'd seen in Los Angeles visited me again.
Who is she? Is she American?
I think she's Ukrainian.
What makes you think so?
She told me her name was Yana, and she'd moved to the U.S. from Ukraine and was murdered here.
Who did it?
Her husband. And I feel that he did something terrible to her.
Wait. I think I know the story. I read about it. A young woman from Kiev went to live in the U.S., and there her husband murdered her and mutilated her body.
Oh my God.
At first we didn't understand what the psychic meant, but then we found the story Yaroslava Fedorova mentioned online. It turned out that the awful murder happened in Los Angeles in 2016. The victim's name was Yana Kasyan. She was 30. The woman was born in Kiev and graduated from a law school. Later, she moved to the United States to study to become an interpreter. After the investigation by the psychics, our journalists contacted her mother, Olha. She told us the love story of her daughter and her murderer.
Blake Leibel is a Canadian who lived in the U.S. He's an author of books and comic books.
Yana met the famous writer at a party in Los Angeles. The man comes from a successful family, among whose friends are Leonardo DiCaprio and other Hollywood celebrities.
She was happy, emotional, cheerful, and in love.
Blake adored his beautiful girlfriend and devoted himself entirely to Yana.
He wouldn't let go of her, kissing her, holding her hand all the time, and calling her my darling.
The couple lived happily for 2 years. Their daughter was born on May 3rd, 2016, and 3 weeks later, the man murdered his husband.
By killing Yana, he killed all of us. I don't wish anyone to ever experience something like this.
I'm having a strange vision. I see somebody drawing Yana's murder long before her death. It seems to have been a carefully devised plan.
Yana's brutal murder shocked her entire family. They still can't believe that she, whom they all loved so much, is now gone.
I look at her photos and can't help thinking she's alive. She can't be dead. She was a better friend to me than anyone else.
I keep constantly thinking that I'm about to receive a call, answer the phone, and hear her say, "Mom, hello. It's me, Yana."
Olha still can't comprehend why the man tortured her daughter so brutally.
He removed her scalp. He severed her head.
Blake spent 2 days torturing his husband. He cut her with a knife while she was alive and mutilated her face. And then he drained her of blood and dismembered her body, then put the parts in trash bags and threw them in the garbage.
This is why Yana appeared white and pallid to me.
But what does Yana's spirit want from you?
She asked me to help her leave this world, but I don't understand what's holding her here. I feel that there is a mysterious detail to her murder. Then I heard Yana's voice telling me I was murdered by a monster from another reality. I didn't get it. What monster? Could it have been a demon? Was her murderer possessed by another worldly entity? After that, Yana told me, if you want to know who's murdering the Ukrainian woman, look for the answer in my death. And then bloody tears ran down her cheeks.
This is unbelievable, but Yana Shulakova has also seen the woman shedding bloody tears recently.
Is it possible we're talking about the same woman? I felt that something connected Ulyana and Yana.
Did Yana Shulakova really see Yana murdered by her American husband in her vision? But what does her death have to do with what is going on to Ulyana?
Show me Ulyana's photo. Look. A murder.
Yes.
Insanity.
Yes.
And a love triangle. I don't get it.
Could Ulyana possibly have had a lover? But then again, what it was the murder?
I couldn't understand what murder it was, but the cards told me that Ulyana's husband's death wasn't an accident.
What are the clairvoyant's words supposed to mean? Was the man killed by magic? But what does the insanity mean?
Hello.
Hello.
Come in, please. Thank you for answering my call.
I'm going to ask you a weird question. Did you happen to know the young woman named Yana who was murdered in the United States?
Yana? No. I don't know her.
You see, our colleague Anna Galliers was supposed to arrive today. But she's stuck in the U.S. And there, she was visited by the spirit of Yana, who had been murdered.
It's quite possible that you're connected with her. To find out if it's really Ulyana's husband is trying to kill her, I decided to tune in to his energy. And I saw a strange vision. The dead man was reaching out for his little daughter.
I asked her, "Why are you crying?" And she told me, "Mom, I have a feeling that someone is trying to touch me." And then she added, "I see Dad. Please help me. I'm really worried about my children."
I need to summon his spirit to work with it. Do you have your husband's photo?
I do.
Somebody's hand shook the curtain on the window. Is there somebody in the house?
No.
And then I saw the spirit of Ulyana's husband. He was standing behind the curtain, calling me. He's over there. Let's go, quick.
It's so awful. You know he's gone, but you still feel him in the house, calling you, and other people see him too. This is horrifying.
Yaroslava Fedorova goes to the room where she saw the ghost. Yana Shulakova stops in front of the mirror.
For a moment, I saw the ghost of a woman holding a cat in the mirror. Bloody tears were running down her cheeks, but she disappeared quickly.
What was your husband's name?
Vasya.
He says, "I know your greatest wish is for me to hug you tightly. I wanted to tell you about our love, but I couldn't find words. You know you're very dear to me.
and I felt him hug me tightly, like he did when he was alive. Vasya, I love you so much. I miss you a lot, and I'd be willing to give away everything just to have him back.
Is the deceased husband really trying to take away his wife to be with her in the other world?
He fell victim to some otherworldly entity that's hunting you now. Here, look.
So it means Ulyana's husband is not threatening her. But then, why is he calling her from the netherworld?
What is the reason of the things I feel?
He's trying to protect your family.
Your love is even stronger than death. The man's spirit said he missed his wife and children. It wasn't him who was causing the incidents which put Ulyana in danger, and he would never harm his daughter. He was simply trying to embrace her. He'd been waiting for her for so long. He was very happy it was a girl.
Yes, he said he wanted to have a daughter. Vasya was present for the birth, and when Nastya was born, he told me, I love you even more now.
This is incredible. But at the same time, far away, over the ocean, the British clairvoyant felt Yana's husband tells her something similar.
Yana's spirit says her murderer had been dreaming to have a daughter, and when he saw the baby, he was the happiest man in the world.
Yana's family confirmed the clairvoyant's words.
I saw photos of him hug her or kiss her belly and hands.
He was present for the birth. He was very happy he had a daughter.
Yana asked her mother to come to the United States to help her with the baby, who was born on her grandmother's birthday. When she came to visit her daughter, Olha was happy to see her son-in-law's eyes shine with love and tenderness when he embraced his wife and newborn daughter.
The man was head over heels in love, so I couldn't even imagine something this terrible could possibly happen to my daughter.
I don't understand why the man killed her if he loved her so much. And why is Yana's spirit bound to this world? Suddenly, the murdered woman spoke again, mentioning the monster from the other reality, and she told me Blake was also in that reality. But how was this possible? Yana is now showing me a fair-haired young woman, and I hear her shout out curses to Yana. It appears she stood between the wife and her husband, and my feelings tell me she practiced magic.
As it turned out, not long before the murder, Yana's husband, Blake, had a mistress. Coming up, a love triangle and murderous magic. What did Ulyana conceal from the psychics?
A woman tells Yana, leave him. I believe it is related to the love triangle.
Did you sleep with her husband?
Don't miss out. What will the mother of two apologize to the murdered woman's spirit for?
The dead woman with bloody tears. She lacks a half of her hair. She's got almost no face left. She was tortured.
She's looking at me and laughing like this.
You shut the door on her.
I didn't do what I could do.
The follow-up to the largest investigation ever conducted by the psychics. A dreadful murder of a Ukrainian beauty in Hollywood, and a mysterious entity haunting a young woman. What ties the two women, dead and alive, together? You will find the truth shocking. Previous episode, the psychics started an investigation to save a mother of two from her deceased husband's ghost that visited her in her dreams, calling her to the netherworld.
I was sleeping and then opened my eyes and saw his face. It was him.
Each time Ulyana's late husband visited her, she found herself in grave danger, and she fears that her children may become orphans. But no sooner had the psychics taken up the investigation than something unexpected happened. The English clairvoyant Anna Galliers, who was supposed to arrive in Ukraine from the USA, couldn't depart because of the wildfires in California and saw a ghost of a beautiful young woman.
Her name was Yana, and she'd moved to the US from Ukraine and was murdered here.
I read about it. A young woman from Kiev went to live in the US, and there, her husband murdered her and mutilated her body.
Blake Leibel is a Canadian who lived in the US. He's an author of books and comic books. He murdered our Yana.
Yana told me, if you want to know who's murdering the Ukrainian woman, look for the answer in my death. And then bloody tears ran down her cheeks.
Meanwhile, at Ulyana's home, the clairvoyants found it wasn't her husband who was hunting her.
He's trying to protect your family.
He fell victim to some otherworldly entity that's hunting you now.
But what kind of entity is it? And what connects Ulyana to Yana, who was murdered in Hollywood?
Yana is now showing me a fair-haired young woman, and I hear her shout out curses to Yana. It appears she stood between the wife and her husband.
Yes, he had a mistress. It was a young woman from Ireland. When Yana learned about it, she got really upset and she cried.
Yana even visited her rival's home to ask her to leave her husband alone.
There were scandals and curses addressed to Yana.
However, Yana suspected that the other woman's curse was not simply verbal abuse, since when she entered her apartment, she found her doing something very strange.
She was doing some magic.
Is it possible that the man murdered Yana influenced by his mistress's magic? And probably it is the reason the victim's spirit can't leave this world? Yana says that Ulyana's in deadly danger because of another love triangle.
I also saw the love triangle. Did your husband ever tell you he cheated on you?
I had a friend, and we used to be very close. And then Vasya, he told me it.
That he made love to your friend?
Yes.
Does your friend happen to practice magic?
There are rumors. She once brought me a plant in a pot. It was at my place for some time, but then she took it back.
She could have added soil from a cemetery to the pot. Where does she live?
In the neighboring street. When she came out, her eyes looked like she was afraid of something.
Why did you bring the flower pot to Ulyana's home?
I had nowhere to put it because we were renovating our house.
The woman claims that when the renovation of the house was completed, she took the potted plant back.
Can I have your hands?
Yes.
No, I don't see magic. You don't practice it.
I never did it.
So there was nothing in that pot? Did you sleep with her husband?
Absolutely not.
But he told me
He said he did it, right?
Yes.
No, it never happened. Ulyana, I swear.
There was no affair between them. Despite his words, he did nothing.
I felt a lot better that Ulyana finally heard the truth.
I hear strange words. Leave him.
Yes, I told her so. He abused her and she cried bitterly. So I told her to leave him.
Ulyana says she and her husband indeed had occasional conflicts, as any other family, but she took them very close to her heart and shared her emotions with her friend.
It looks like Vasya didn't want Ulyana to interfere in their family's business, and so he made up a story of the unfaithfulness. He told you he'd slept with her to make you part ways with her.
Well, he succeeded in it. We even stopped to say hello to each other.
My advice is that you reconcile now and resume your friendship.
The friends don't even know how to thank the psychics. Thanks to our experts, the awful misunderstanding is finally resolved.
It's a load off my shoulders. I'm happy it happened, so.
And then I felt like I was being watched by somebody. When I looked back, I saw the ghost of the woman with the cat in her arms. She laughed with weird laughter and disappeared.
The cards again told me that the mysterious entity was haunting Ulyana's family because of the love triangle and insanity. And for some reason, I again heard the words, "Leave him."
At the same time, Ana Galliers, who was working in California, heard the same words.
A woman told Yana, "Leave him." I feel it's somehow connected to the love triangle.
It turned out that Yana's mother told her this when her daughter confided in her about her husband's unfaithfulness.
I said, Yana, please leave him.
But the man convinced Yana to come back.
He texted her something like, darling, I'm waiting for you at home. But I told her, don't reply him and don't go there.
Yana is telling me, I was stupid not to listen to Mom.
That day was the last time the mother saw her daughter alive.
I was anxious because she wouldn't answer her phone. I decided to wait until the evening, but when I called again, she didn't answer.
The next morning, Olha left her granddaughter with her friend and hurried to the place where her daughter and her husband lived. Nobody answered the door.
I started shouting and calling Blake. Their balcony was quite high. When he closed the balcony door, I ran up to the front door and began pounding it with my fists.
But all was in vain. After that, Olha called the police.
I asked them to break the door. I told them she had given birth recently and had a C-section. I told them I thought he'd killed her.
Yana's spirit says only my scream could have saved me, but I was unable to scream.
The police officers didn't hurry to break down the door to the apartment.
They said, we have no right to enter the apartment if we hear no noise from the inside.
I saw a terrible picture. The mother, overcome with concern for her daughter, rushed towards the building, yelling like a wounded animal, while the murderer proceeded to brutally murder her daughter.
The police only broke down the door on the third day, but it was too late.
They said nothing. I understood Yana was gone. I started yelling, but they would hold me back, saying I couldn't go in there. I blame myself for it, as I think there was a chance to save her. I live with this pain every day, every minute and second of my life. Her daughter is my only consolation. If only she could see her own daughter.
The baby lost her mother and father when she was less than a month old. Her grandmother is now raising her. It took the woman an incredible effort to take custody of her granddaughter and bring her to Kiev.
I went through all of the court procedures and paperwork. I was so worried they would take my baby away.
Yana's murderer was sentenced to 3 life terms in prison. However, Olha believes that this punishment is too mild for such a beast.
I couldn't understand what Yana and Ulyana had in common. But then the victim said strange words. Murderous infidelity is what connects us.
Anna says that Ulyana is in danger because of murderous infidelity.
Ulyana, do you know what it could mean?
No.
Meanwhile, the British clairvoyant keeps working with Yana's spirit.
She's showing me herself lying on a bed, mutilated. Her tormentor is standing above her, and there's a picture next to him. In the picture, there is a bleeding woman with her head severed. Her husband drew it. Blake created pictures of murders.
As it turned out, Blake Liebel was the author of a series of comic books about a maniac. This is the picture that was next to the bed in the room where the murderer killed his victim.
But what did the picture have to do with it? Was it related to Yana's murder? And then her spirit told me, a monster killed me.
Meanwhile, I was trying to sort out what was killing Ulyana. A woman is haunting you. She sheds bloody tears. Wait. When we entered the house, I saw her in the mirror on the wardrobe door. I felt the dead woman with bloody tears was killing the family. But why? And who was she? I needed to go back to Ulyana's house urgently.
On the other continent, Ana Galliers began talking about an otherworldly entity that keeps tormenting Yana even after death.
The entity that's holding Yana in this world emerged through magic, but her husband's mistress has nothing to do with it. Oh God, Yana herself used the magic. I feel that she put a love spell on her husband.
Later, her friends told me that Yana went to see some fortune tellers there. in the U.S.
However, something else made Blake kill Yana. The magic ball showed me that he took drugs. They transformed the man's mind completely.
He smoked weed. When we asked the neighbors, they confirmed he did it. They said they'd felt the scent.
The magic and the drugs caused insanity in Blake. And at that moment, he thought he was in the world of his comic books. He saw himself as their protagonist, and he did to Yana the same thing as the maniac in his picture. What's worst of all is that with the spell, Yana bound herself to her murderer. And this is why her spirit can't leave this world. Her spirit suffers awfully because every day, every minute, she feels the pain he caused to her. I have to release her. I carried out the ritual to break the bond between the murderer and his victim. She's free now. Nothing is holding her to the world of the living anymore. But I still couldn't get how Yana was connected to Ulyana. And then I heard Yana's voice again. She told me, "Search for the murder and him who lost his mind."
The woman with bloody tears stood in front of me. When I saw her better, I felt cold creeping down my skin. She was all hurt badly.
I saw her earlier.
She lacks a half of her hair. She's tormented. Her face is ripped.
She's your mother.
Wait. I see your father killed her.
Yes.
It turned out that the man, unable to control his fury, tortured his wife in the apartment where they lived.
I received a call from the police, and they told me my mom was gone. She was badly disfigured. Her neck was broken, an eyelid was torn off, her ribs were all fractured, and she had a closed craniocerebral injury. She was all bruised.
I see a dead animal next to her. It's also dead. What is it?
A cat. They had a cat. Her name was Musia, and the cat was beaten to death too.
This was why I kept seeing the ghost of the woman with the cat.
When Ulyana's father came to and saw his dead wife, he didn't even understand what had happened and asked his neighbors to call the police.
He didn't yet realize Mom was gone. I told him, "You did it to Mom." And he said, "I didn't touch her. I didn't lay a finger on her." But the next day he confessed everything. She was hurt so much. What unbearable pain it was.
Ulyana's father tortured his wife, just like Yana's husband tortured her in the U.S. I felt the reason for it was also love. The cards are showing me a love triangle. Did she have a lover?
It was her boss at work. Dad knew about it.
It turned out that Ulyana's mother was unhappy in the marriage with her father. They were too different.
The murdered mother was crying and saying her husband wouldn't let her go. He threatened her, saying, "If you leave me, I'll kill both you and your lover." And he punished her for not being faithful for many years by beating and hurting her. Thus, one day, he beat her up to death.
He passed me a letter through his lawyer in which he wrote that he had loved and would always love her.
But Ulyana can't understand such kind of love that can make you take another person's life.
At my mother's funeral, I promised her that he would answer for every bruise on her body. I can't forgive him. Never.
Could he be the madman? Nobody in their mind could do anything like that to somebody else. Did Anna mean him?
According to what I feel, the threat to Ulyana came from her dead mother. But I couldn't understand how it could be. Why would a mother want to kill her child?
She's showing me you shut the door on her.
Ulyana says she begged her mother to leave her father, but it was all in vain.
I cried and kneeled in front of her, but she wouldn't listen.
This was why I'd heard those words. You must leave him. Did you say this to your mom?
Yes. She would come to see me and I saw a bruise and ask her, Mom, did Dad beat you? And she'd say, no, it wasn't Dad. I swear I did it myself.
Ulyana would often host her mother at her home, but she would always come back to her husband. Eventually, the daughter got sick of it, and so, when her mother came to her after yet another beating, Ulyana didn't let her in. A few days later, her mother was gone.
I feel so sorry for her. I didn't do what I could do. It would have been different.
Do you see your mother at home all the time?
She stands, looking at me and laughing.
I also heard strange laughter from the woman with bloody tears. And I kept thinking about what it could mean. And then I finally realized she lost her mind before she died, because of the pain.
The woman said she was angry with her daughter for shutting the door on her.
Whatever awful it might sound, it is Ulyana's mother who is trying to kill her. It was her who took her husband to hurt her daughter.
I beg you, please, help me. I don't want my children to be orphans.
She's here.
You must apologize to her.
Address her through the fire.
Mom, Mummy, please forgive me for failing to protect you. I miss you so much. I am sorry for letting him do this to you. Forgive me, Mom. Please forgive me. Let me stay here with my children. I felt Mom pat me on my head. I felt her touch my hair.
She stands, crying.
Mom, I will always love you and remember you.
She's gone. She deserves rest.
I'd like to thank you so much for helping me. I am sincerely grateful. Thank you.
After the investigation, it was all clear to me. Yana in the US bound herself to her husband with magic, while Ulyana's father tried to bind his wife to him with force. The efforts of both ended tragically. One of them became a victim and the other became a murderer. If someone doesn't love you, you can't make them be with you.
If you're impressed by the story, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel. Many more incredible investigations by the psychics are coming up.